maybe what is causing these glass tube structures on Mars. Did he participate in filming a fake moon landing?
Will we have an end of times? Yes, we will.
1974 UFO landing at Holloman Air Force Base with aliens walking out exists.
Hi everyone, thank you for watching. By law, I have to tell you that this is for entertainment purposes only. All videos are property of Psychic Liz Cross, LLC. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Mr. Reality and Psychic Medium Liz Cross. Liz, how are you?
I am so excited for the next Sci-Fi Drop.
Number 15, that's covering 75 topics over the last couple of years. So I wanted to appreciate everybody that goes to my Ko-Fi page and gives me something for keep me move along. I'd like to thank Mr. Photon for all of his great work with your thumbnails. I'd like to thank you for making all this possible. It's been really fun. The first thing we're doing is the glass tubes on Mars. So these are images from the 1997 Mars Global Surveyor. It was lost in 2006, so sadly we can't talk to it. But these were allegedly signs of a subway system on Mars, but the people that say, no, that's crazy, are saying, no, it's just wind-blown sand in the dunes from Mars. And so I wondered if you could figure out maybe what is causing these glass tube structures on Mars.
These glass tube structures on Mars. Let's probe the glass tube. Let's do that as an entity. What would you like to know?
Are they actually raised, or are they depressions? Are they showing sand dunes?
They're not depressions. Are you actually raised? They do stand out. Yes, they do stick out.
Are they transparent or made of like some type of glass?
A glass-like substance, yes.
Are they natural formations or are they artificial formations?
They're natural formations and they are transparent.
They're natural glass formations. Were they used for anything like transportation system on Mars?
Ooh. No.
Do organisms live, or are they like go through these things in any way? Or did they?
No.
So does NASA have any more clear pictures that they're choosing not to share?
A load, yes.
And what are those things that they're withholding show?
They're larger structures, similar to the glass structures, but they just don't understand exactly what they are. They're still being studied and they're inconclusive.
So you said structure, but you also said natural formation. Those things don't really marry in my
sorry.
remote viewing lexicon.
Oh dear, slap my wrist. Sorry.
So are they structures or are they like natural formations?
They are natural formations. They're not made through man or anything else.
So what is the process that makes these images?
It's similar to like sand. It's a sand, but there has to be a certain extreme, like a heat extreme and a temperature extreme change that creates them to, or causes them to stick together and create like a glass type of existence.
So these aren't used by giant worms like in Dune?
Oh, no, that's funny.
And is there any type of tectonic activity on Mars? Like, do they have plates that move in Earth, like Mars quakes? I think they do.
Yes, I got a yes on that.
And would these be like a byproduct of those Mars quake formations, or are they a different process?
They're not a byproduct. No, it's a different process.
When you said there are other structures on Mars, did you mean artificially constructed structures, or did you just mean other, weird artifacts?
These glass like shards, but they stick up higher than the ones that they have photographed.
Okay, and if we were to like pierce these, what would we find in the middle of this tube structure?
Nothing. It's hollow.
Okay. Was there ever any monorail system on Mars?
No.
How about a subway system on Mars?
No.
This is Tom Van Flandern, who's been notorious for his study of extraterrestrial life during his lifetime. What does Tom Van Flandern want to tell us about artifacts on Mars that we might be surprised about now that he's crossed over?
There's a lot of uncovered information and artifacts on Mars. Most of it is beneath the surface. Obviously, they haven't uncovered that yet, but they're going to find some skeletal remains.
What else? And when?
Did they have any sort of like dinosaur activity? No. These are more like insects and small animal skeletons. When will they? It's going to be a while yet. It's over 100 years out.
How about technology?
No,
Has that technology been, brushed away?
no,
It just was never there?
no, but it wasn't there. Not technology in the way that we think of technology here on the Earth plane. No. There's a
All
lot
right.
of energy traps and energy pockets.
Would we have a way to build structures ourselves with the Martian? I don't think it's called regolith, but it like the Martian dirt and make that into cement. Would that be a way to construct on Mars if we were to send a team of Optimus robots there to build something?
Yes.
All right. We're moving on this time to a
Oh.
coincidence, in fact, by this guy. What's his name? Larry Salona was featured in the film Eyes Wide Shut. And he also broke the story that Jeffrey Epstein died in a quote unquote suicide. And so it's weird that Larry Salona is so closely involved in both of these things. I wonder if we can talk to him. I think he's still alive too.
Okay, yes, I can mind probe him.
And we're going to talk to Stanley Kubrick, who's not alive. So, Larry Salona, what does he know about the shadowy network of Epstein that he's not sharing with us?
What do you know about the shadowy network of Epstein? Oh, there's a lot of dead girls, okay? He can't release that information. It's still being investigated. There's a lot of girls that went missing. There's a lot of dead girls. Are they on the island? Some. Are they on that ranch? A lot of them, yes. But what about also around the world? Yes. He was running some sort of snuff ring as well.
And when you say a lot, we need numbers.
Okay, how many do you think? 500? 700, 800, between 7 and 800 girls.
And are these just North American rings, or do these rings extend out into other countries, European countries?
No, it extends out. It's definitely worldwide.
Okay.
And they would kill them for non-compliance as well. But also there's an industry, apparently there's an industry where you can pay to do that.
And moving out in that circle, we're going to talk to Stanley Kubrick, who was I think he was the director of Eyes Wide Shut. And I wanted to ask him, was the movie Eyes Wide Shut actually about a trafficking ring?
Yes, that maybe. Yes, it was.
And what was changed from your original ending that we never saw in the movie?
Well, in the ending of Eyes Wide Shut, that was changed was like death and destruction. But obviously that doesn't make for a good film,
Well, the
right?
ending of the film has their daughter walking away with two men in suits, and so that's disturbing as well. What was the original ending that was filmed and what was taken out?
The original ending was where everybody was killed. And that was taken out because that's not good. But where it kind of left an opening to create more of this story, which is what they wanted to do.
And so was Mitch's daughter intended to represent all of the exploited minors in this organization?
Yes.
And what knowledge did Kubrick have about this organization? Let's ask that.
Oh, very in-depth knowledge. He'd been researching this for a very long time. A lot of people had been researching it. And of course, this was all commonplace in Hollywood.
Did he die of natural causes or was he taken out by that same agency?
Ooh, did you die of natural causes? No, he was murdered.
Was it because of this movie?
It was because he knew too much. So was that because of the movie? Partially, yes.
Can you hang on one second?
Of course. It was not the same agency.
What agency was it?
It's like the original gang that he was researching.
Is there anyone that's investigating his death, or was it just swept under the rug?
Nobody's investigating it.
Is he angry that his film was changed?
No.
Did he participate in filming a fake moon landing?
Yes.
So a lot of people will latch onto this and say that the moon landing was fake. Was it, what was his role in the whole moon landing then in regards to people saying that the footage was fake? Does he believe from there that we did land on the moon? And what part did his footage play in that unfolding?
We did land on the moon, but the footage, the actual footage that was shown to the public, that was staged.
Really? Was that your footage?
Yes.
Is there real footage of landing on the moon?
No.
Huh.
Why is there not real footage? It didn't work for whatever reason. It didn't work. There was a problem with it. They had recorded the fake footage prior to their departure
Wow.
to the moon
And where did they film that?
in a studio.
What else was taken out of Eyes Wide Shut that we never saw?
A lot of their original names. It basically was supposed to be a tell-all movie, but a lot of the names were taken out. I mean, he was threatened. He was also told by the spy agencies, you can't, we're investigating this. You're going to ruin our investigation if you put these details in. So there was a lot that was changed.
And does he see any of those tell-all movies coming out in the near term, the next 5, 10 years here, or not?
Will there be a tell-all? There will be a Epstein tell-all, yes.
One be
Now
really named?
everybody's kind of tight-lipped about it because they don't want to implicate the wealthy.
Right. Well, was there anything else? So everyone was supposed to die at the end of Eyes Wide Shut, he's saying.
Yes.
Hmm. All right. Let's move on to the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Oh, wow.
In
Okay.
Revelation 6, emerging as the first four seals are open, you'll see in, I think it's in Zechariah also, there's a listing of a red, black, green, and I forget what the other color of the horse is. But, and then I saw this picture, which kind of looks like one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. This is their new, hey, we can help you with disaster recovery. And that reminded me of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So, can we figure out, is this really a concept? Is this a metaphysical concept? Is this a real thing that exists? And what are they?
Did the four horsemen of the apocalypse actually exist? No, they didn't actually exist.
But will they exist? Are they coming? Because
No.
here's one right here. It seems like
That's so funny.
with a chainsaw.
What is that? Is that like a robotic tree cutter or
Yeah,
something?
this is a new disaster recovery drone that they're sending out that has a goat's head and a chainsaw, which I'm sure, it speaks in tongues as well. It's like they're taunting us when they make these types of things, and that's what led me to the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So, will they be made manifest then in the future?
No.
So let's talk to, I think it was John of Patmos, and he's called the author of Revelations. Did he actually see these things in a vision? What was coming through to him? Is he the real author of a lot of those books or
He
chapters?
is. He is. Did it come through? I mean, it was like a nightmare. It did
Sounds like
come
a
through in
nightmare.
a
I have
dream.
nightmares, but I don't write them down like John did. So did John plague with nightmares? Like what was he eating that made these nightmares come through?
There was a lot. I mean, he was channeling a lot of information.
Was any of it from a divine source, like an angelic realm, or was it just
No.
wackadoodle, oddball frequencies of extraterrestrial madness?
Again, it's a lot of these biblical historical stories, as we probe around and find out, we find that they're from the ETs, right? It wasn't from angelic or source realm, no.
So that's what John is telling us now. Is John alive today?
Yes.
What is John doing?
CEO of a company.
Is John afraid of revelations that he wrote 2,000 years ago?
No, no, not at all.
So, is there anything within Revelations that John's soul can tell us now that will come to pass? 'Cause I think when I read it 100 years ago, there were some fig trees in it, and so a lot of whenever I see a fig tree, I'm like, watch out, could
No,
be.
it's all kind of hocus pocus.
But is there a consciousness then of the four horsemen? I mean, usually these things that people write about, there's a thought form. So do we have thought forms appropriated within the global collective of four horsemen?
There is a conscious mind collective, yes.
Okay. What are those things doing?
Well, it's basically run on fear. That's what's behind the conscious mind creation.
Yeah, I think Revelations is a scary story. So that those things feed upon the Revelation story when people, talk about the fire and the brimstone and the death and destruction and the Revelation.
I mean, that's all kind of lumped into one. Um, but let's ask source. Let's just go straight to the source.
Source.
Source. Will we have an end of times? Yes, we will. We will have an end of times. Is it going to be anything like what is written in the book of Revelations? Yes, there will be.
I
Will
saw
there
something
be the
funny.
four horsemen? Sorry. Source says yes. There will be the four horsemen or symbols of the four horsemen.
When is that?
How far out is this? I mean, this is way out. This is way out. And this is if we start really losing the war to the dark. But it won't be the end of the earth plane. It won't be the end of everything on earth. It will just be the end of man.
I saw something funny. If you go back to school and you were writing a paper and you were doing your bibliography and you just channeled source, you could just write source on your bibliography. And then say, what? You're like, well, I talked to the source on it. I've got it. So when you
Yeah,
say
and
way,
they
way out, people want to have a number. Is this a billion years? Is this a million years? Is this 626 years?
so that part of the future is yet to be determined and yet to be programmed. If you go far enough out into the future, especially in remote viewing, I'm sure you go in and look at the future with your remote viewing groups in your class, you'll come to a blank canvas. That's because there's energy in the future that has not been pre-programmed as of yet.
But John was pulling from something. And so, where was John pulling from? Was it a
E.T.
previous incarnation or maybe a previous universe where this thing did then happen?
Ooh, was it according to a previous universe? Similar to what happened in a previous universe, yes, but
And
not
there's
with humans.
not with humans. All right. Thank you for clearing that up for us. We appreciate it. Now we're moving on to the Tooth Fairy, another thought form, possibly. So the story is it's a modern
Hello.
story of when children lose their teeth, then they put their teeth under their pillow and they're rewarded with money. And I've always wondered, what is the Tooth Fairy doing with all of these teeth? Are they building a house? Are they have like little teeth parties? Like what in the world is the Tooth Fairy working on? So I thought maybe you could tell us, Liz, what does the Tooth Fairy do with all those teeth?
Well, let's ask the consciousness of the tooth fairy, because obviously the tooth fairy is not real.
What?
I'm sorry
Wait,
if you
what?
believe that he is. Oh my God, thank God
Spoiler
my
alert.
kids are not home. They're at school as I'm recording this. What do you mean the tooth fairy isn't real? It's gone up in price too. When I was a
That's what
kid,
I was
I
going to
got
talk
like a
about. Yeah, it's the teeth
quarter.
price, just like inflation. Things have gotten a
Man,
lot more expensive. Used to
it's like
be a
$20
quarter, now
a
it's a
tooth.
dollar. Now, like, who knows how much teeth are? $20 a tooth. What?
$20 a tooth. And they all talk about at school what the tooth fairy leaves them. So you have
Wow.
to match, everybody else, because if you don't, the tooth fairy only gave me $10 and gave my friend, Sarah $20. How come
Wow.
I only got $10? And yeah, and then they feel like they've been, ripped off by the tooth fairy.
That is
What
amazing. Why
I
didn't I know
know.
that?
Yeah, 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 you got to keep up. with the
So
going
for the
price.
tooth fairy consciousness, like when is this like a modern creation? When did it come into being? What did she do with
No,
all the
it's
teeth?
been around. It's been around for a few hundred years.
And so what does that look like on the consciousness scale?
Well, it didn't always give money. It used to give like a sweet or a treat or
That
maybe
would
like
just
a
make more teeth come out, it seems like at this point. Now we know more about tooth health.
what does it look
Maybe it
like
should
on?
leave like a little toothbrush and a little travel crest.
Yeah, really. What did it look like? So back in the day, why was this tooth fairy? I mean, it just started and it just caught on. It's like word of mouth. It's the same in the school, word of mouth. Oh, my tooth fairy left me, blah blah. And it just caught on and everybody liked it. It was something to look forward to, losing a tooth, because a lot of times losing a tooth is very painful, right?
Dramatic.
And it can be a sad experience for a child. But what I'm getting from the consciousness of a tooth fairy, I mean, she loves to exist as a consciousness. It's a very positive energy that I'm pulling here.
Has she always had this job, or does it rotate? Do different people introduce themselves into the consciousness of the tooth fairy?
No, no, it's the same consciousness of the tooth fairy. Now she has evolved over time, and what she looks like and how she operates and things like that. I mean, it does evolve. But no, it's still the same consciousness of a tooth fairy.
Is there like this a karmic drain either on maybe adults who are engaged with the teeth and the putting out the money? Is there any net karmic gain or benefit there?
No, no. I mean, it is a positive gain. It's just something fun and nice to do, right? It is a positive gain. I'm
Okay.
laughing. I'm laughing because my little one, his first tooth went down the drain.
Oh no.
Yeah. And so he was screaming and screaming. I was like, the tooth fairy's not coming because my tooth went down the drain. My husband literally had to take the sink apart and find it in the pipe.
Wow, that is dedication to dad. So hats off to him. Very good.
So,
Thank you for
yeah.
that. I thought that would be a super fun one to do. So thank you to the Tooth Fairy and thank you to your husband for doing that. The next one moving on to is if you've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, you're familiar with this edifice at Petra. It's from the Nabataeans and a group of people that used to live there, hundreds of years ago. So let's talk about the people of Jordan's Petra and ask them what motivated them to carve out these enormous rock structures.
They were royalty. They considered themselves royalty and they had to look majestic.
And so this is one of the royalty. This is Aretas the Fourth, Philopatris. Sorry, we butchered that name of yours, and this might be a terrible portrait of him on a coin. Let's talk to him. Is he the one that
Okay.
was behind engaging in this? What was his long-term plan?
It really was to show power and force. It means that you have money, you have, the means to protect your kingdom, you take care of your soldiers. That's what this is. It's like it's almost like a symbol of money, a
Uh,
symbol to say we're powerful because we have money and we can pay a lot of soldiers to destroy you. We have money to make weaponry. We can source weaponry, things like that. That's why it looks so beautiful.
so we're asking Aretas primarily, what? How did the Nabateans become so wealthy?
Through slavery, they enslaved people.
And was a lot of that slave labor involved with making the structures and edifices there at the Petra?
Yes, that is true. Yes. And they treated their slaves very badly.
Did you believe yourself to be some sort of a god when you were ruling?
100% yes.
And so when you died, what happened? Like, what was that like? Oh, I guess I was wrong.
Oh, right. What did they think? What did you think? Yeah, it was like, well, that was the role I played then. I'm now moving on to something else. Do you realize that you were not? No, he is adamant that he was royalty.
Yeah, but what is royalty?
Well, that's debatable nowadays, right? I mean, with everything going on, especially in the UK and
Can you
yeah,
marry into royalty? Does it have to be by blood? I guess we're asking Aretis.
yeah. Can you marry into royalty? Yes, you could marry into royalty, but you had to be able to birth heirs to the throne.
It says Aretus's daughter Phasaelus was married to and then divorced from Herod of Atropus. Herod then married Herodias, his stepbrother's wife. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Um, so let's ask her what she thinks about the idea of royalty from a female point of view.
Well, from a female point of view, she says it's disgusting. The way that women were treated as if they were just birthing machines. They were beaten. They had to turn a blind eye to all the adultery going on. There were a lot of sexual diseases going around. They were given diseases. They were just treated savagely.
So why did people eventually leave Petra?
They abandoned the land. Why? To look for a better life somewhere else. The kingdom turned out to be extremely cruel to I guess the constituents, if you want to call them that, the residents of that kingdom, and they chose to walk away. They chose to no longer serve that kingdom. They abandoned the kingdom.
And were there any records left, or were those records destroyed in some way on the exit, or were they taken with them?
There were some stone tablets that were left with like hieroglyphic information on them. Those have been stolen. Somebody has those,
It's
and
a
they're
couple
not
years
saying
ago,
anything.
they found 12 hidden tombs with skeletons buried beneath the Petra treasury, and they date from 400 BC to 106 BC. And so, what can we learn? Well, I don't think we've heard anything much from those. What other things will we find in the tombs of Petra?
There really isn't a lot of information there in the tombs.
Who cleaned it out?
It was raided. It was raided by, were they archaeologists? They were, some archaeologists or wannabe archaeologists raided it
Because
because the treasures are or the information is seen as very valuable. It's something to pass down through the generations. It's something that other people don't have or can't access. It's kind of like, when someone buys a very, very expensive painting and they love this painting so much, but in it disturbs them in some way, and they lock it away in a room so nobody can ever see this painting ever again. It's kind of like that. It's to remove it from the visible sight of the public.
was there some sort of darkness that befell them, or like another ruler or reigner of Petra that cast that dark shadow?
No, I mean, they're not a dark shadow. I mean, obviously there's darkness and stealing the tablets and stealing the artifacts.
Well, thank you very much. Let's move on to our UFO section where we do disclosure better than disclosure does. And it seems like disclosure has actually been co-opted to mean something fake because that's what I'm noticing a lot on the social media now, that when it says disclosure, it's sort of gravitating into something that's not. Um, this is a story, the Friendship One case. So in the 1960s and 70s, there were a group of Italians who were engaged with and talking to humanoid looking extraterrestrials. And I wonder if Liz could tell us if those stories about those humanoid ETs were correct, a fabrication, or something else.
It's more of a seance, holding hands, going into deep meditation. I mean, they weren't presented to them in physical form.
There are a few pictures. There's one of this guy who's allegedly 7.5 feet tall. I couldn't come up with it apparently but it was in Timothy Good's book. Uh, is that image, do I need to pull up the image for you to show you?
No, it's fine. It's a fake image.
It's a fake image. Okay. And so were these groups of extraterrestrials real or were they just imagined?
They were real groups, but the way that they were communicating is not how it has been told.
How was it then? How is it different from what originally happened?
Because they're just not in physical form. They're in etheric form. They may have felt real, but they weren't actually there in physical form.
Okay. Let's see. The next one is the footage from, let's see if we can find this footage. Released in 1974,
Mm.
UFO landing at Holloman Air Force Base with aliens walking out exists, the producer told James Fox. And so this was, see if I can pull up the video of it. Where was that video? Where'd the video go? So these two guys, who I think are disinfo agents, were on a show talking about a UFO sighting over Holloman Air Force Base, and they were talking to Mike Farrell from MASH. Here's the video of that coming down, so everybody can see. They can look for this on probably the YouTubes. Liz, what do you see for this image coming down over the sky of Holloman Air Force Base?
That's a fake.
It's a fake. What about these guys that were showing it? Did they know that it was a fake? This guy, Robert Eminger, and this guy, Paul Shartle on the left.
Did you know? Yes, they knew that.
See, that's what I always thought. Not when I watched it originally, but when I went back to watch it, I thought that they were all part of the hokum. So, what was their goal in making this what was their point? Why would they distract like this?
At the time, they wanted to distract away from something that was going on in the news.
Is there any real evidence of any extraterrestrial craft landing at Holloman Air Force Base, either in 71 or another year in the 60s?
No.
Interesting. All right, well, let's go finally to our UFO battler. Here's one over Uruguay, which looks like I don't know, like a saucer going over someone's house.
Hmm.
1994, it's claimed, when VHS tapes were all the rage and used to have a shoulder pack VHS player taking video recordings.
Is that real? No, that's fake.
How is this fake?
How is it fake? No, that's some sort of shocked image in there.
Okay. Let's see. The next one, we're gonna do this one. Where is the other one? I had another craft.
Well, there's lots of different ones there.
Yeah, there's lots of different. Let's go this one over Ethiopia in 2023. That looks like a kind of like a cloud to me formation.
Is that a cloud formation? No, that's not a cloud formation.
A mirage. What is that?
Is it a mirage? No.
What do we got?
What are you ET related? Now that is ET related.
We got one. Let's see. What are they doing here in Ethiopia out in the desert? Looking for,
Hmm. They were supposed to meet another craft.
oh, it's a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
What was the point of their meeting? And did other one ever show up or did they get stood up?
No, the other one never showed up. But what was the purpose of the meeting? To exchange information, exchange some physical evidence.
So the other craft, they swiped left and they swiped right. Now,
Right.
what were they trying to understand and what kind of information were they attempting? Like, are there extraterrestrial beings on this craft? Were there just robots on craft exchanging information? Like your AI takes my AI out for a drink?
Was there physical beings on that craft? I mean, no, they're not physical, but they can manifest themselves into physical if they need to.
Okay, explain how that works and when they would have an instance to.
Well, they would have an instance too when they were meeting another craft. And it's just pixelated, right? So it depends how close you want those pixels to become to create something solid.
Okay, what's the origin of the craft? Where is it from?
It's telling me the middle of the earth.
Okay, since you got stood up, what information were you going to convey to the other craft? Tell us.
There were some samples, some physical samples that they wanted to pass on.
What was in
To
those samples?
samples. It was some sort of like minerals and uh metal samples.
What type of activity and work were you doing on those samples, and where did they come from? What could we do if we had them? Just give them to Liz.
Well, they were from the Earth plane. They were from here. They just wanted to study them, take them back to the lab and study them.
So that sounds physical though. So would they have taken these metals, these materials, and converted them into energy, or was there a physical lab that they have to take them back to?
No, there's an actual physical lab to bring back physical.
Okay, what happened to the group that they were supposed to meet? Did they get held up on, did they crash? Did they just not get the memo? Did they calendars not sync?
No, they just never turned up. So they took the specimens back to their own labs.
And what did they find out about these specimens?
They're just trying to figure out how the specimens were created naturally.
What is your interest in human beings?
They're fascinated with humans. Why? Because we have so many things that they don't have. A brain, the physical.
All right. Liz, thanks very much. And thanks everybody out there. We appreciate each one of you for joining us for the Psychic 5 drop. They're always fun. They're always educational. And Liz, we wouldn't be here without you, and we wouldn't be here without your friends and your fans and your supporters out there. So thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Thank you for putting this together for everyone. Please don't forget, Mr. Reality has a tip jar listed down below.